Good day, everyone. I hope you all are doing well today. This is going to be a short live, but just something to get a little something in today. I'm trying to be as consistent as possible, and today we're going to be talking about Gullah Geechee and Hoodoo and the importance of the water to the Gullah Geechee and Hoodoo. Um, I was going to play a song, but I don't want to get any copyright strikes, so I'm just going to mention it. It's by Erica Badu, On and On. And in that, there's a verse that says, she was born by the water with dollars and 6 dimes. Now, when I broke that down, a lot of people get many different understandings of that. But when I broke that down, $3, that's 300. That's 300 cents. And I broke that down that way because she further goes on to say 6 dimes, which is 60. And 300 plus 60 is 360. Now, with that being said, she said, you might laugh because you didn't do your math, meaning that that 360 is full circle. That 360 is in reincarnation, if you believe in that. That 360 has to do with the characteristics of water and how it just recycles and comes back around, to and fro, back and forth. And if you really think about it, all the water that we have is all the water we ever had. It's here, it gets evaporated in the clouds, rains again, here again, and back and forth again, just like that. Our bodies are made up of majority water. So water is nothing to be played with. It's very important, and it's very powerful. It's integral. Is that the word? The way I'm saying that, is that right? But it's very important and essential to our lives. But anyway, I was going to say also that the Gullah have great respect for the water. We have great respect for the water, first and foremost because most of us reside on the water, and that's where the whole Gullah Geechee culture thrives on and is built on, is the water. With that being said, like I said earlier, water is currency. It ebbs, it flows, it comes, it goes, it's back and forth and up and down. It's never the same. It's never going to return to you the same as it left you. All right. And in Hoodoo and Gullah Geechee culture, we use water, of course, for many, many different things, not just the daily, essentials, but we also use water in healing and in healing rituals and practices. We use water in, let's see, for money, in different money rituals as well. Because like I said, money is a currency, and that's why the word currency is used for money, because when you think about it, the word current, it refers to the ocean and the seas and how it moves, and it ebbs and flows. And in Hoodoo and Gullah Geechee culture, water can also be used for your demise and different practices that can result in the demise of someone. But yeah. Hi, I don't know how to pronounce your name. At XH. Yeah. You're here to educate, heal your mind, and YouTube alter ego. I don't know what you mean, but thank you for joining in on the live. Explain to me what you mean. Now, a lot of you have probably heard, especially lately, about Florida water. I'm not from Florida, so I'm not I'm not going to claim to be, all knowing about Florida water and its purposes and strengths, but that's definitely something you can go and look into, because I am talking about Gullah Geechee and Hoodoo culture. Sorry about that. Something weird went on with my phone. But yeah, that's something you can go and look into. Again, Florida water. Another thing is holy water or ghost water. A lot of people don't think about it, but when you are doing holy water and you're sprinkling on things, you are blessing that water, And, another thing just to just to look into. Thank you. I appreciate the comment. Thank you, Sir Mode 199. I really appreciate that. Charged water. Different people have different names for different things. So we wouldn't probably necessarily call it charged water. We'd call it something else. Like people, like I was just talking about, holy water is water that you would pray over or speak over, and then you would, you know, you know, send it out after that, or whatever the case may be, because those things have a frequency, and they do hold a certain amount of power and energy once you speak over them. That's how the Most High is able to speak to the waters, and they just do whatever the Creator says to do. But Gullah culture is also very big on being buried by the water, because it is said that that water will take your soul back to its original origin. And a lot of people during slavery, they yearn to go back home, wherever that may be. Of course, a lot of us were already here. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about those who were truly from somewhere else, and those souls were yearning to go somewhere else. It was very heavy in Gullah Geechee culture to want and desire to be buried by the water. And I mentioned this before, and it was something I could never explain, but I would always tell my family, if something happens to me, please send me back home. I want to be buried at home. And I'm from by the water, because I'm from Gullah Geechee territory, but I just always had a very strong desire, no matter where I was in the world, how beautiful somewhere else was in the world, to always want to be buried at home. But yeah, another thing I wanted to mention is water has a personality based on where it is and the location of it and the spirits attached to it. And don't think for one second that water is just something to dismiss, because water most definitely has a lot of spiritual energy attached to it, if not more than anything else on this earth. You understand me, King? Thank you. I appreciate it. Hi, Kacho. Hi, John. Ashe. How are you? Hi, John. How are you today? Thank you all for joining in. I appreciate it. But yeah, those spirits that are attached to water are something serious and not to be played with. And you can even go into the sirens and the mermaids and all of those different things. There are different parts of the water that we can't and haven't even touched yet, and that we won't ever be able to get to. For the Gullah Geechee people, we survived by the water because a lot of means to make money and take care of your family was by the water, whether it be crabbing, fishing, collecting shells, selling shells, whatever. It all was connected somehow to that water and being around that water, and being by the water, because of the isolation in the islands and things like that. I keep talking about this, but because of that and the water, a lot of that culture was able to be preserved, because in Gullah Geechee territory, when you're running all the way from North Carolina down to Florida, you have those a lot of those islands and people that were segregated and isolated, and so they were able to maintain their way of talking, their speech, their dialect, their food cultures and practices, and their spiritual practices as well. But yeah, I want to thank you all for joining. This was, just a little brief live talking about Gullah Geechee people, hoodoo, and the water and the power of the Wada. All right. So if you all have anything to add later on after the live ends, I'd really appreciate it. I like the interaction, and you all be blessed.